Hello, everybody. Welcome to Take the Black Live. I am Dan Selcke, the editor of Winter is Coming. I am here with Mia Johnson of Fancenter.com, Cheryl Wassenaar being on vacation in, I want to say Missouri.
Missouri.
Yes,
So I am not Cheryl, but I am happy to provide my commentary with you, Dan.
it is. And this is a special episode because this is actually, just for those of you who were watching for a while, hello, Julie, hello, Terry, Christian, Sue. This is going to be the last episode we do in this studio.
Yeah.
We are actually moving offices, so we're actually going to be off next week, but after that, we'll be in a brand new studio. I don't even know what it's going to look like.
It's going to be state of the art.
It's stressful, but we have some things to help us through.
Like this bubble wrap.
I found this when we were packing up stuff, and I'm like, oh, sweet. Okay, I can use this during today's show. It's a
So this is strictly an ASMR podcast from here on out, so get ready for that.
ASMR, take the ASMR black, that kind of thing. All right, so thanks for being here, Amanda. Thanks for filling in for Cheryl. I thought we would start off talking about, there's a lot to cover. There's a lot of big stuff coming up.
Yeah.
San Diego Comic-Con obviously is around the corner. You're going to go to that.
Oh,
You'll be interviewing folk. It'll be very, very exciting.
Yep.
Stranger Things just aired. We watched some of that. But let's start with Game of Thrones. Start in our home base.
Yes.
What's happened in the wide world of Game of Thrones. You know, okay, so you, by the way, were not a Game of Thrones super fan like I was, but you did catch up to see the final season, right?
Exactly. I have a complicated past with Game of Thrones. I watched it up from season 1 to 3. I was betrayed by Red Wedding, so I dropped out. And when this final season came, I was like, okay, I got to kind of catch up and make sure that I can, get some great stuff out for writing for Culturess and Fansite It.
And you were around for the epic blowback that, I mean, it was kind of historic. Did you have a take on that?
Against D&D?
I mean, I think it's the show in general. I think a lot of people did not enjoy the final season. So how's that for you as someone who really wasn't embedded in the fandom like I kind of was throughout the intervening years?
Yeah, I mean, when you watch any sort of TV show or movie, there's that storytelling aspect to it. Mm-hmm. And so I think you can just kind of sense, like, even if I'm not a super fan of this, or if I, you can tell when things are rushed or when characters don't seem fully developed. Mm-hmm. And I did get that sense. I really kind of got back on the saddle with Game of Thrones and, with Daenerys and some of, like, Jon Snow stuff being left out. I was like, I would have liked to know more about this. And so I think I was on the fence where I was like, this could have been a little bit better.
Sure. No, it's interesting because, I mean, I'm so, kind of involved day to day with, the people who were just, there all the time. It's good to get some of their perspective. Are you looking forward at all to the prequel series that's coming up? You
know what? I am a little bit curious because, as I was digging through, all the lore and all that stuff, I was like, you know what? This is actually kind of interesting.
It does have a lot of lore.
Oh, yeah.
You can't say that against it. It's got a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of there,
Exactly. And so, even as a casual fan, okay, there's no Jon Snow. Will there be dragons?
No dragons.
Okay, so no dragons. That's off the table. But I mean, at the same time, I think it's a premise worth exploring. That someone like me might have to jump on the HBO Now bandwagon again, get that free trial.
Well, apparently now it's HBO Max. You heard this?
That's right.
That's their new thing.
HBO Max.
Now that AT&T bought them, there's going to be HBO. Where it's not clear, I think they're going to get rid of HBO Go and HBO Now, and it's just all going to be HBO Max, which will include all HBO content plus Time Warner other stuff.
Yeah, all that. I mean, I like them combining it because right now there's just too much for me to keep track of anyway.
I kind of do too, actually. My fear is that it'll all go splintering all over the place, but I mean, okay, you're going to consolidate it. I guess that's good.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, if they offer me a free trial, I will watch.
We can get a free trial off Fansided, maybe. And Julie, of course, mentions that we can get give the banners a good ironing. I did try, Julie. I steamed them. People, I have witnesses here and everything. It just didn't super duper take.
No, and they're going to be boxed up again when we have to move, so it's just
boxed up again. But I did try. I steamed. I had a steamer. I swear to God, I was everything. I'm so stressed. Anyway, George R.R. Martin, the author of Song of Ice and Fire, came out and gave some more details about the prequel. Let me see if any of this piques your interest.
Ooh.
Some new details. Okay. So yeah, thousands of years ago, no characters we know. Mm-hmm. Not even Melisandre's been born yet, probably. It's a period of Westeros where there aren't 7 kingdoms, there aren't 12 kingdoms, there are hundreds. It's like prehistory, where there's no leader yet. There's no one king. It's like
Yeah.
it's like little petty clans. So that's one little detail.
Okay.
Also given us no Lannisters. They're not around yet. The Starks are around because they've been around for a long ass time. So they'll be there. White Walkers are around. Targaryens are not around. Casterly Rock, the Lannister home base, is around. And we think that one of the big plots will probably be, you know what, you don't know this stuff, so I can explain it to you.
Yeah, please. I'm all ears.
An ancient kind of fake legend in this fake world, in this fake book series,
Okay.
is that, are you familiar with what Casterly Rock is?
Vaguely, very
Yeah.
vaguely.
It's like the Lannister home base.
Okay. Okay.
We see it once. Like, it's not really a big
Yeah.
focus in the show. But legend has it that it was used to be owned by the House Casterly, believe it or not, where it got its name.
Wow. Who would have known?
And the Lannister family starts when a trickster type, known only to history as Lan the Clever,
Ew.
tricks the Casterlys into giving him Casterly Rock, and thus the Lannister family is born. And Lan would go on to have descendants who are also experts at trickery and lying and stuff like that.
You know what? I like the premise. I love a little mischief making.
Yeah, I think it sounds kind of good.
And you know what? I feel like it'll just appeal to pretty much anyone who loves fantasy, unless it just like takes a deep dive and it's just like terrible. Which
I mean, it's possible.
It's possible. I think they know what they're doing, but I mean, I think all you have to do is say the Starks. Starks won this last season anyway, so
Yeah.
that's a seller already.
They have some built-in viewers, definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it's good they're getting some fresh blood. They have Jane Goldman as the showrunner. She did some interesting stuff with, I think, Kick-Ass, a couple other movies.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah, not a bad movie.
Okay.
And, yeah, I mean, a whole new cast, very diverse and very, like, an ensemble thing. I love Naomi Watts is going to be a part of it. Are you a fan of her at all?
I'll be a fan today.
I honestly do like her a lot.
Really.
Mulholland Drive is my jam.
Hey.
And Miranda Richardson's in it, too, so that's pretty impressive.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it has some good bones.
Yeah.
And they're only making a pilot. Like, if it's terrible, they won't order it to series.
Really.
Does that surprise you? It kind of surprised me.
It does. I thought at this point, like with their faith in Game of Thrones, they would have ordered just the full season. But I mean, if HBO wants to test the waters, then they can go ahead and people will watch. If they won't, well, they didn't waste their time.
I agree with you that I was surprised that they wouldn't just order a full season of it. And Cheryl's
Yeah.
been resisting me and saying that, I don't know, because the Game of Thrones pilot was legendarily kind of rough and they had to reshoot a bunch of it. But I mean, it's Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's your biggest thing.
I feel like we've gotten to the point where we can just kind of feel the waters out and know that, okay, this production level is going to be great. There's not much that needs to change.
Sure.
And it kind of has me curious, like, okay, if they put out the pilot, then they are going to have to wait, like, some extra time for, like, to make the rest of the episodes. So are, like, we just left in a waiting period? Like, well, I can't wait to figure out what happens next.
I mean, I don't think they would put out the pilot, see how we like it, and then I think they would look at the pilot and be
Okay.
like, okay, go film some more, film a whole
That
season.
makes more sense. Let the
And then they'll
execs
film it all
handle
together.
That
And
makes
then
more
it'll just be
sense.
weird, like, the characters will, wow, she was like 11 in the pilot and she suddenly looks 13, like that kind of thing.
It's not going to be that. It's not going to be a, what's that X-Men? It's not going to be New Mutants.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be like a time capsule movie. It's going to be like Maisie Williams, how she was like 15 years old or something when it finally
Whoops,
comes out.
just CGI, everybody.
Okay, so that's where we are in that. Having a good time. In other news, I am going to Con of Thrones this weekend.
Oh,
The premiere Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire convention in Nashville, Tennessee.
whoa.
I think it's pretty cool. I don't go to a ton of these. I'll be in a few panels. I'll be on, okay, tell me think this is neat. I'll be on How Game of Thrones Changed Television. That'll be fun. Richard is going to come, by the way, over there. Hi, Richard.
Yay.
Thank you. I'll be on the spin-off panel talking about that and
Cool.
our feelings about it, my deeply held insights. And I'll be on Journey's End Cersei Lannister, all about that character arc
How
from
about
start
that,
to finish.
Cersei? So, okay, so this is a new con. What con did you do last
Same
year?
one. It's been
Okay.
it's the third one.
Oh, it's the third one. It's always
Third
in Nashville?
annual. No, it was in Nashville and then Dallas and Nashville again.
Okay. Keeping it south. So do you consider yourself, I guess this is a weird question, like an expert authority, like enough
Oh,
to
yeah.
to like handle yourself in a panel. That just
No,
seems.
come on, you just every
I'm
day.
like, yeah, you know way more than me. I don't even know why that's a question.
I have such a compendium of useless information that is really, I mean, if I can, yes, I should definitely be on panels at a Game of Thrones convention.
Sell yourself.
That's like what I can do with this knowledge base.
Yeah.
The uses are so few. This is one of the few.
Okay, so then the next question is, are you having an autograph session afterwards and photos?
That would be great. No, I am not. I don't think I'm quite there yet.
Okay,
you know.
okay, we'll get to that.
Give it a
point.
year. I've requested to like interview the people who play like Jaime Lannister.
Yeah.
Who's going to be there. I'm not sure. They haven't gotten back to me like with whether I can yet.
Okay.
They just sent me an email like we'll figure that out pretty quick. So maybe I will. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
So will other like cast members?
Yeah, a bunch. There'll be the guy. Jaime was probably the biggest
Okay.
one. The guy who played Sam will be there.
Okay.
Gendry, he's fun. The Gilly, Sam's girlfriend, and a bunch of others, and some crew members too. So it should be a fun time. No one like Daenerys isn't going to be there, Jon Snow, but they will be at San Diego Comic-Con,
Yeah.
which is the other. I mean, Con of Thrones is, I think, probably the biggest pop culture event of July, but we're right under that, second
Right
runner-up.
under is San Diego Comic-Con.
But seriously, this is a huge event, and it's
Yeah.
very exciting that you're going. What are you looking forward to seeing, and what are you going to be doing?
Well, if you know me, I am more of a Marvel person. That is my
Sure.
useless database of knowledge that's all kept up in here. And so Marvel is going to have a ton of stuff there. They're going to do a really big presentation in Hall H.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to announce the next slate of movies. They haven't said
That
yet.
is pretty cool.
But they're like keeping it under lock. They're like, well, we're going to have like our president there, and he's just going to bring out some guests.
Is that Feige?
Feige, yeah,
Okay,
Kevin
cool.
Feige. So I am hoping, well, I think they're going to announce Black Widow. They're going to talk
Sure.
about some of the other movies like Black Panther sequel probably. I really want them to bring out Keanu Reeves and say that he's going to be in Eternals. That's my one hope.
He is having just a big old second act right now.
He's having a huge year, so it's like if he's going to be at E3, why not bring him to San Diego Comic-Con? Just do it already.
I mean, yeah, if there's any guaranteed crowd pleaser, just like bring him out on something that doesn't have to do anything to do with them.
Pretty much.
Bring him out on the Good Place panel. Just, are you in the Good Place? No.
But
Watch it.
Here's Keanu Reeves. You're breathtaking. You're breathtaking. I love that so much. I'll watch that any time of the day. That
He is in his Matthew McConaughey period.
Ooh.
When he went through a big thing a couple of years back. Keanu Reeves is coming back around, and it's all Keanu Reeves right now. I don't know who's going to pop next of like the older stars.
It'll come.
An Aguilera sense, maybe.
Well, moving on. Can't talk about Keanu the whole podcast, as
No.
much as I love to. But speaking of Good Place, you did say Good Place. I have my name on the list for Good Place interviews. I
That'd be great.
believe it's going to be, Ted Danson, Kristen Bell.
Yeah, you're right.
There's so many Kristens in this world. And Jamila Jamil and
cool.
everyone else. So it's going to be all round table. So not one-on-one necessarily, but if I get to sit right next to them, it'll feel like one-on-one.
Wait, Kristen.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Are you by any chance going to be able to go to the Game of Thrones panel? Because I'm interested in that.
I would love to be in on that, except for the lines are just, it's something
imagine.
out of this world. When you like actually go there and there's lines out the door, like literally people are in tents and in sleeping bags, and it just goes on as far as the eye can see.
Is that for any Hall H panel or just for
Mostly, yeah. Some people just go in like at the beginning of the day and they're like, I'm parking it. I am not leaving. And it's a good strategy because you've been sleeping out overnight. That is not going to be me unless HBO wants to send me, like a reservation. I'll be there in your honor. But
totally, yeah.
But if not, I will have to pass on Game of Thrones panel just because the lines.
I can't imagine like paying the money to go to San Diego Comic-Con and then spending it like in a giant line. That seems so backwards to me. But if you do it, great, have a lot of fun. For those who don't know, Hall H is like the big hall for the Comic-Con panels,
Yeah.
where all the important stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, important insofar as it's about superheroes and dragons stuff.
Yeah.
Gets announced. It all happens in Hall H.
But yeah, I mean, in a way, if you're like truly a fan of this, like if you just love Game of Thrones, you got to see Emilia Clarke. I mean, sure, it's worth lining up, being in a sleeping bag, and I mean, I'm trying to defend the fans here, and
Sorry,
he's
go ahead.
to each their
Okay,
own. I'll just
sorry,
say that
yeah.
much.
Truly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little frankly afraid that there might be just in terms of like the backlash the show has received.
Yeah.
And again, I'm online. I see like these people who are kind of like saying some silly things
Oh, yeah.
about what they'd like to do during the Game of Thrones panel. I mean, I don't think anybody's actually is going to have it get ugly with the showrunners up there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they're just blowing off steam.
I think the fans, it might just be kind of like that internet facade where it's like, yeah, I'm angry and I'm upset, but you know what, I'm going to come out, I'm going to have a good time, and I'm not going to let that stuff bother me. I just want to see everybody. Oh, that does remind me, though, last year when I was at San Diego Comic-Con.
By the way,
yes.
Julie agrees with me. Hates lineups, wouldn't do it for anyone or anything.
All right,
I'm with you, Julie.
But
maybe like a roller coaster, but if it's like over 20 minutes, no.
yeah, I am not a line person, so I'll leave it at that. But last year when I went to Comic-Con, I attended a taping of Conan. Conan O'Brien does his show for the weekend of Comic-Con. I was there for the Glass panel with Samuel Jackson, director. That director.
You know his name, the Twist
the Twist
guy. Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan was there as well. And he got booed coming out
did he really?
Of Avatar.
Because of Avatar?
I did not participate in such booing, but yeah, when he did the live action version of the Nickelodeon's Avatar.
Wasn't that like a decade ago?
People are still upset.
Wait, okay, let me just get this straight. You were there for the Glass panel 1 year ago, 2 years ago?
This was last year, right, at Conan.
And people booed for the last Airbender live action movie that was made, I'm pretty sure, in like the first decade of the 2000s, not even like the teens.
Yeah, people were big mad. So I don't.
In that case, you are doomed, Game of Thrones showrunners. Just run. If they are that mad about a 10-year-old movie. Oof.
Yeah, there might be some booers. I won't say, for sure. But I mean, okay, let's think about it though. If you did line up, did you come all this way to heckle the show? Okay.
People are spiteful creatures.
Okay. It's a dark world we live in.
That's weird. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So we'll move on, but like what happened? Was he graceful next? Like did it persist?
Yeah, it wasn't like a huge boo, like unanimous. It's a huge theater. So there was a small group of fans there who showed their unsupport for the movie. But
10 years later.
For the most part, they were just there to talk about Glass and Sarah Paulson was there.
Which
so that
also
was also good. Yeah. So I think they just had to kind of like move on and be like, okay, we're here to talk about what we want to talk about, not my past mess ups.
Okay, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
I'll be watching closely. I hope it goes well. All right. In other pop culture news, Stranger Things, very popular program on Netflix.
Netflix.
Have you watched the new 3rd season?
I have, and we talked about this before we started rolling. But I have not finished the whole season because, believe it or not, I am not like a huge fan of binge watching.
Sure.
And it might just be like that I don't have a long attention span, so I can't sit for 8 hours straight to binge a whole season. But I have gotten up to like episode 4 or whatever
so halfway through.
Yeah.
I think that's when 11 kicks Billy's ass all over the public pool and like swings his body back and forth.
Spoiler.
Whatever. It's been a week. In today's culture, if you haven't
time.
watched it, it's fine. I finished it last night.
Cool.
Suffice to say, I think it is a nicely emotional finale. Like that show I've had a weird relationship with. It's good. I can't not say it's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm never sure if it's like, is this like a kind of a cheery surface level indulgent 80s pastiche, or do they actually want to go deeper and like explore characters and kind of have bigger themes and stuff? I feel like it's walking this line a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think that with the Duffer Brothers, it's like they really are like driving on that 80s nostalgia, which is not something that I know about personally. So I'm not really there
I
for
know
the
I'm like
nostalgia.
a lot older than you. It's not me either.
No,
I
yeah.
wasn't something in the 80s.
But yeah, it's kind of weird because this is a show where I've just felt like I'm obligated to watch it. Like, oh gee,
little.
Stranger Things is back, gotta turn it on and watch it.
I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, I do enjoy watching
I will
it.
say
I
that
think
as
it's
well,
well
yeah.
done. I think it's well acted. I think, they clearly have passion for it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I have enjoyed it. But I don't know. There's something a little rote-ish about it. Because, I mean, it is literally, in many ways, a retread of, like, Red Dawn.
Yeah.
And, the Goonies and other 80s
Yeah,
things.
yeah, bring all the Alien and all those
Gotta have the
references.
E.T., yeah.
I mean, I do kind of like being able to point out, maybe it's just like being a film buff and saying, oh, that is like this sort of reference, like I said, Alien or something like that.
Yeah.
But, I do think that this season they have really brought in a compelling storyline. All they had
have.
to say was Russians. And it's like, oh, you can already draw that comparison to today because we're dealing with Russians.
I did think it was weird how, like, it kind of came back around.
Yeah.
Like, they were the villains in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then for a while they weren't. But, I mean, yeah, I guess we don't like them
History
again.
repeats
So
itself.
it is,
Yeah.
fits perfectly that there would be evil Russians, as they
Oh,
say
yeah.
in the show.
Yeah. And then
I enjoyed it. I did.
I do also like, coming from my old cultures background, the whole like Max and 11 relationship.
Yes.
Because for a while it's just been a boys' club, but it's kind of nice to see someone be like, you know what, boys suck, and just burping and eating chips all day. You know what? Don't worry.
That was
about
funny. They like visit them in their psychic vision. They're just like burping.
It's an
and
episode of South
farting,
Park
yeah.
she walked in on. But I think that was something really nice to have, to be like, okay, girls are involved in this too. 11 is not alone. She has somebody who she can talk to. Max isn't a great mother figure, but she needs somebody else
Like,
in her life.
not the
Yeah.
like the best advice.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, she's 11 or
Hopper
whatever.
is her dad, so to speak, so that's not the best advice either.
No, she's making it. I mean, they also added. I like the new character, Robin, who's Uma Thurman's daughter.
Yes, and Ethan Hawke's daughter.
Yeah, who, by the way, later on, like, I totally can't stop seeing it. Like, her voice totally goes Uma Thurman out.
Oh,
And Erica Lucas' sister. So they add on more female cast members.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think it's purposeful. Like, I think they looked at it and said, like, we have to balance this out.
yeah,
This is
yeah, for
working.
sure, yeah. And just the whole Scoops troupe, is that who they are?
Sure.
Steve and
They do have
and
such humor. Like, it's
Dustin.
pretty funny that they're in their uniforms the entire
I
time.
did enjoy that. And Steve, as someone said, with his one brain cell, God bless him, he's trying. And they definitely made him a better character from season 1. I hated Steve in season 1. I was like, I don't really like this guy, but I love him so much more now because he's the mom character.
Yeah, he does make a good babysitter type.
Yeah.
And as Terry says, Stranger Things filmed right here in Atlanta. Excellent.
That's right. If you look on Culturess.com, we have a story by one of our brilliant writers who actually found some locations in Atlanta, if you want to visit them, that were actually, double for Stranger Things set. So that's something
very
to look
cool.
out for.
I mean, any other opinions you have, Mia, about Stranger Things, San Diego Comic-Con, Game of Thrones, anything at all?
Do I have any opinions?
Final thoughts. I'm sure you have opinions.
Final
Maybe I phrased that poorly.
Yeah. So I'm happy to be here, obviously.
Yeah.
I am super excited to hopefully report back in one way or another
Yeah, I'd love
what I'm
that.
doing for Comic-Con. I will, even though I'm over on Fanside Entertainment, I will be writing for Culturist for Fanside for Comic-Con. And so, like I said, you can look out for my Good Place interviews. Fingers
I'm
crossed.
excited about that, yeah.
I also applied for Supernatural. So fingers crossed I get to talk to Jensen Ackles, Jared Padalecki, Misha Collins, all those people. So look out for that stuff. It's going to be really fun.
Very cool. All right. Thanks for having us. Thanks for coming here, Mia.
Yeah.
And now we will bring on fansided.com editorial director Joshua Hill, who joins us for a series we like to call A Song of Dan and Josh, where we go through each and every chapter of George R.R. Martin's as yet unfinished fantasy magnum opus, A Song of Ice and Fire, and just break them down. What's good about them, what's bad about them, makes them work, it makes them interesting. Why should you be reading? Why should you be interested? What's the meat of this? The literary meat. And right now we are in Clash of Kings, Tyrion IV, Joshua Hill, editorial director of Fansided. How are you?
I'm good. Hello, everybody. Hello. Who do we have with us? Julie, obviously.
Of course. We got Julie, we got Tara, we got Ismail.
Hello to everybody.
We got Roger Black.
Did you wrap this book in bubble wrap?
No, I found this
that what you've
when
done
we were
here?
moving. Just like it was in the cabinet.
I mean, I understand
and I'm like,
it's precious
sweet.
cargo, but
Although, I mean, it is to be fair. And Julie says hi.
hello.
To be fair, my last book, A Game of Thrones, the one we read, was so ragged by the end of it.
beat up.
It's gone. I mean, I don't have it anymore. It
Did
just
you
fell
have like
apart.
a little funeral for it?
That's stupid. It's a book.
I don't know.
No,
Because I'm imagining like a Viking funeral, but then we're burning books, and I don't really think we should be doing that.
I don't think
but-
what. Did I have a funeral for you? Did I light the book on fire?
Yeah.
No, there are too many signals with that. No, I didn't. I did buy a new one, and now I have a Clash of Kings.
Yes.
Okay.
And we read Tyrion IV, right?
4, yeah. And this might be a little patchy because, frankly, I read it a bit ago because then we didn't have one last week, and now the notes come out all weird. But this is kind of like a peak Tyrion chapter, I think. This is...
It's meaty. There's a lot there.
Yeah, so what were your impressions, Josh, of Tyrion 4? We're in King's Landing. Stannis is on his way, but isn't there yet.
No.
Tyrion's trying to manage the chaos.
And it stuck out in that these last couple chapters that we've read, I mean, we've noted they've kind of not a whole lot has gone on. It's just very small progression of the plot. And this one, it felt like we're back in the old school. This is Game of Thrones. Like,
Yeah, this is
Tyrion's
totally
politicking
Game of
all
Thrones
over.
stuff,
He's
yeah.
going. He's with Pycelle, and then he's with Cersei, and then he's like, well, we can't.
Littlefinger, Varys.
Yeah, especially Littlefinger. And he goes from being like, no, we can't. We can't have Tywin bring the army here because, like, look, it's not going to work. And then he's marrying off children or setting up arranged marriages for power. And Dorne is mentioned here in a pretty significant way.
The Vale comes into it, yeah.
Yeah, so it felt like we're back to the game. We're back to the politics of this, and it's not a pseudo horror film chapter where Arya's hiding in a barn, or we've got some little detail things going on. It felt like we're definitely moving towards something. And again, it's a flex on Tyrion on how much control he has over just about everything here. Where we've got all of these moving pieces, it feels like he's very much in control
Totally.
of what's going on.
This is a fun chapter because it's Tyrion at work and kind of making it look easy. Like, it's also interesting that he doesn't really... we don't really know what he's getting at exactly for a lot of it. Like, the chapter is mainly him talking to Pycelle, and he gives Pycelle a letter.
And stealing a potion, too.
He totally steals a potion, which I don't remember if that does come back or not. I think the stealing a potion from Pycelle's store thing, my guess is, so when Joffrey dies, we have, like, he's trying to arrange a murder mystery board. Like, give someone, like, a little bit of motive for everything, or means, or, opportunity.
Yeah.
And you can come back to it later. So again, this guy plans ahead. So he's thinking, because I can't think of anything else. Why else would we steal a damn potion from Pycelle's stores? I don't know. Anyway, he gives Pycelle a letter, and he says, don't look inside this, but mail it to Dorne immediately, knowing full damn well Pycelle is going to look. And the idea is he's going to, all he knows is he's going to go to Dorne. Then he goes to Littlefinger and says, I want to marry... Oh, God.
It's Marcella to...
It's a little different in the show, so I try to get it straight here. Marcella to Robin Arryn, that little
creepy kid.
ass weasel who, breastfeeds at the age of 13 or whatever. And then the letter is actually him offering Marcella to Dorne. And the idea is, whichever one of these jack weasels tells Cersei, I will know who I'm behind my back and betrayed me, and then I can punish them for it. So he's telling different things to different people. And he even has Varys fooled. Like, Varys thinks that he's going to offer Tommen to one and Marcella to the other. So Tyrion is...
He's got a web here.
Playing the game. Yeah, he is spinning a web. He is building lies upon lies upon lies, plots on plots on plots, schemes on schemes. And he's doing it, and he's having a good time. He's doing it pretty well. And as we know from the show, this does work. Pycelle rats him out to Cersei.
Yep.
And then he puts Pycelle in a dungeon. Because that is what he's here for. Tywin told him, go down there, make sure those elite advisors who are advising Joffrey are in line. Pycelle, the eunuch, the one with the beard who has the money, the Littlefinger. And so this is him doing what his dad told him. He is trying to suss out if there are any weak links. And I guess Pycelle is the weakest link of the people who are there. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, it's Tyrion at his finest.
It
Like,
really is. This is what he's good at.
I imagined it. I was recapping it in my head,
Mm-hmm.
and I imagined because it's a very brisk chapter. There's a lot that happens, but it seems like it moves at a quick clip. It's like one of those.
Yeah,
Like,
it does.
I imagine it as like one of those West Wing scenes where it's like the walk and talks. Where we're just going down the hallway, and
Right.
Tyrion's like, "Oh, I get this potion here." It's like, "No, we can't have the armies come out here." It's, "Oh yeah, we were marrying him off to Rob and Aaron." It's like, "No, actually, we're marrying him off to Dorne." It's like, "Oh, Varys, let me tell you about my plan." And it's like this whole thing, and I don't know. It felt very different from the chapters that we've read, and it's intentional. But once again, and I almost liked it more because it's pushed up against these other kind of not a lot
Yeah,
happens
totally.
chapters to where it's like, okay, now.
Very different tones.
Yeah, not only is there meat to it, but it's a reminder that Tyrion is just a wizard.
Yeah,
Like,
he's good at the stuff. And honest to God, I feel like we kind of lost that as the show went on a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just didn't have that kind of moments of Tyrion being good at his job and doing smart
he
stuff.
got sad.
He got sad and
got
just kind of got
kinda mopey.
ineffective.
Yeah.
Although in this part of the show, they did the scene really well. It was a montage on the show of him telling one thing to Varys, one thing to Littlefinger, and one thing to Pycelle. And like, so we all knew it was different. It's more obscured here. I think it almost worked better on the show, and it was definitely
Well, yeah.
quick. But yeah, it was just it's just good stuff. It's fun because you know someone's going down. You know he's lying. You know, it's just fun to kind of puzzle out his schemes. We also get more on the thread of even though Tyrion's doing a good job, people hate him.
Yeah.
Like, although it's not totally his fault. So last Tyrion chapter, we had this bit where he wants the goldsmiths to make a chain, but Cersei told him to make armor and stuff, and whoever they choose to follow, the other one's going to be mad. So it's like the people, no wonder they hate him. They really can't win. And here there's a bit about there's rioting in the streets. They're taking over the bakehouses because people can't get fed. And Tyrion refuses to meet with the people who are protesting, reasoning that what they want to do is see Joffrey. And like, if I send them to Joffrey, he'll probably just have them all killed. And there is some great comedy in here where he's trying to deal with all this, and Joffrey is like shooting rabbits in the courtyard and missing, which is just really funny. Like that's what our fearless leader is doing, up in the halls of power.
The
just
buffoon who just
completely
can't
bumbling
do
around,
anything right. Yeah. No.
thinking he's being like the baddest ass there ever is, and everyone else is like, oh my god, what are we gonna do?
Which again worked in the juxtaposition against Tyrion doing all of these things, actually getting things done,
Yeah.
actually moving pieces, and you have Joffrey out in the yard just not knowing.
Missing rabbits.
I imagine him like cackling and laughing too, like
yeah.
some really just like
Dipshit.
pathetic thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, Tyrion doing a good job, but people not being able to see it because
No.
he points out when I say to them you can't see the king, they're not going to understand that as, and I'm saving you from probably being skewered for
No, yeah.
fun. They're saying it as, oh, you're trying to silence me, are you? Like, you know, they're not going to, they don't know Tyrion. They're not going to do the deep thinking.
Yeah.
So it gets to this point where Tyrion is working really, really hard, but just nobody appreciates it.
No, I mean, and that's kind of at the core of Tyrion's character too. He's
Yeah.
a very,
can't
he's
get
an
no respect.
influential character, and he's a very helpful character, and we like him. There's a reason that from basically the start, he's the only Lannister that we like.
Totally.
And we grow on Jaime over time and all that, and Cersei becomes empathetic and all everything. But Tyrion from the start is a character that we've liked and we've enjoyed. So there is this kind of thanklessness to his entire existence. And there's a thanklessness to his job. That's
Yeah.
He's not in a position where he can say, no, you can't see the king, and somebody's going to say, no, okay, thank you. It comes with the territory, and he knows that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean he has to like it, but it also doesn't mean he can't go and do these very elaborate things, because he's like, look, whether people thank me or not, whether people like it or not, it's going to have to get done, and I'm going to have to do it
Yeah,
regardless.
he can't get no respect. He's a Roddy Dangerfield of
No
Westeros.
respect at all.
No respect at all. So, and of course, that will lead to other things online. That'll lead to his big trial blow-up thing,
Yeah.
where he's like, screw you guys, I am going home, trial by combat, you never did what I did for you. That's where this is all going. And of course, he'll want to leave and like, why should I help you? I'm going to go join up with this dragon lady. So that's like the meat of the chapter, but there's a lot of good grace notes in here. I liked his talk with Littlefinger probably the best, because he's saying like, oh, you'll go to Lysa Arryn, you tell him that we want to marry Marcella to Robin. Yeah, to Robin. And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. What's in it for me? And Tyrion offers him the castle of Harrenhal. And there's a really great bit where, like, Littlefinger's, is an implacable guy, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to give anything away, but he's very ambitious. And I like this bit where it was that Littlefinger took a moment to adjust the drape of his cape, but Tyrion had seen the flash of hunger in those sly cat's eyes. I have him, he knew. So he managed to outplay Littlefinger.
Yep.
So, okay, yeah, Littlefinger's a sly jagweed, but he does want stuff. And if you find the right lever, you can work him. And Tyrion finds a way to work him, which is great. I enjoy that, and he will be duped by this. He doesn't betray Tyrion, so he gets to stick around. But he does. Oh, and
That's Littlefinger's thing. Is
Julie, I am popping the bubble wrap. Should I stop? No. What are you doing?
I'm taking it away from you, Dan, on Julie's orders.
That wasn't an order.
There's
I love
no
the
more.
bubble wrap.
There's no more bubble wrap.
I don't know why you aren't popping it like a crazy person. Let's see what else we got. Cersei hates Tyrion, obviously. What did you think of the kind of subplot where Tyrion, I think, is leaving Pycelle, going to Littlefinger, and there's like a woman trying to get his attention, a lady Tonda Stokeworth. There's this subplot where she's trying to set him up with her, I mean, today we would call it mentally challenged daughter, who is Lolly Stokeworth, who's mentally disabled. They call her like soft and soft brains, words like that. I think that's what it's supposed to mean.
That's the way I took it, yeah.
And the idea here is that, again, it's can't get no respect. It's Tyrion is doing really good work, is really smart, but people see him as this third stringer. Like, usually, you know, a true-born Lannister would marry someone very important in this society. They'd marry, like, you know, a Prince of Dorne or someone from the Vale or someone really high up. Not like, you know, the daughter that, obviously, she can't marry off to other people because who would want to marry the disabled daughter? But this woman thinks that she can, okay, Tyrion's a dwarf. He'll have to settle for something. So we're going to get him to do this.
Yeah.
And, like, it's kind of funny because Tyrion, you know, Tyrion's like, oh, please, not her again. He just, like, avoid it. But it's also got some insight in there that's how people see Tyrion.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like every single time Tyrion does something productive or does something like this, it's very elaborate. And he's outsmarting and outwitting characters who are, you know, think they're higher on the food chain or think they're higher up than they actually are. Tyrion kind of puts them in check a little bit. And every time that happens, we're always reminded that, well, he's the imp. He's the unwanted child. He's the one that Tywin, you know, probably would have gotten rid of, the one that Cersei doesn't love. And Jaime likes him.
Jaime's
but
into him.
Jaime's into him because it's a brotherly thing. But,
Cersei calls him a bunch of stuff. I mean, as usual.
But we're always
Useless,
reminded.
Less than useless.
Yeah,
Blah, blah,
constantly reminded that Tyrion is less than. When he's so absolutely clearly probably the best sibling that there is.
Oh, totally.
He's the smartest Lannister. But we're constantly reminded that he is this low thought of character in the eyes of the people of King's Landing. I mean, I thought this was a little unfair because it was kind of stepping on his touchdown dance a little bit because here Tyrion had this incredible chapter and it's like, oh, okay. We get it, George. He's the imp. But, I mean, it had its purpose. It served its purpose. So I absolutely get it. But
what's also interesting is that, do you remember that somebody actually does marry Lolly Stokeworth on the
No, I
show and the
remember
books? Bronn ends up marrying her.
of course, Bronn does.
So while Tyrion is kind of in this whole thing, like this isn't a judgment about like who's desirable. Tyrion, in this system of government, where marriage is everything. As the son of the most powerful house in land, he's supposed to be kind of reserved for really, really powerful people.
Yeah.
Bronn is a gutter rat.
Yep.
Although he is on the rise here. Tyrion made his personal guard. He has these days the Seltzer was looking more almost respectable. His dark hair was washed and brushed. He was freshly shaved, and then the thing cut off the rest of the damn quote. Sorry, jump printer.
I know. I noticed that too.
I know. I don't know what happened. But Bronn is Tyrion's trying to present to the world like he is as important as his birth would demand. Bronn is born like he's a trash person, but he's trying to get up there. He's trying to look respectable. He's personal guard. And Bronn does eventually marry Lolly's because while it would be a step down for Tyrion socially, it is a big step up for Bronn. Cersei arranges for him to marry him in exchange for Bronn not helping Tyrion during the trial. It does happen on the show, but they end it pretty quick.
Oh, because I was going to say, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't
at
a giant
all.
subplot. It did. I mean, and she is in the show.
Okay.
She's in one scene. She has some lines, but she's not a big character. But
Oh.
she is a character. On the books, he'll stay married. I mean, he's still married to her in the books. So I don't think they'll. I think it'll go a different way. But yeah, I think it's a little interesting. You know, the social ladder part
Yeah.
of the story, as opposed to the Arya on the run part, and the Daenerys taking over the world part, and the politicking part. Lots of different parts of this story.
Yeah.
Anything else, Josh, you want to say about Tyrion IV?
No, I agree with you. The Tyrion Littlefinger exchanges were
Yeah, it was solid stuff.
fantastic.
Yeah, they were good stuff.
But
And Varys too. Those two scams.
well, it seems like there's a blueprint for these Tyrion chapters where Varys always comes in kind of at the end, and it's like, here's everything that happened.
Yeah, a
but
little
now
bit.
he's using every single character as a puppet in his little play, though. So, which again, Tyrion
Even
is the
Varys,
smartest.
because I mean, he doesn't know everything. He gets
Yeah.
the letter wrong. I mean, even only slightly.
Yeah.
Which I like. Like, it's like Varys is good, but he's not like omnipotent.
No.
Like, he doesn't have to get everything right. I mean, how could he see inside a sealed letter? I don't know, man. Anyway, next week. Next week
Not next
we're going to
week.
be off because we are moving offices. As Julie said, we should iron these. I did see them. I swear to God, they just still look.
He did.
greasy.
I watched him do it.
Yeah, we all watched me do it. So yeah, next week we're off, moving offices. We'll be back the week after that with more Game of Thrones news, Song of Ice and Fire discussion, genre news, exploration, and I think the first Sansa chapter, or do we already have one?
I think it's the first one. I don't think we've had one.
Okay, well the first Sansa chapter then from Clash of Kings.
All right.
In 2 weeks, we're going to off next week. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Have a lovely evening, a lovely fortnight, and we'll see you later. Bye.